Once again, I come bearing bad news. It turns out that I still don't understand how computers work. Editing is hard, and I buggered my audio beyond being usable again. So unless anyone is interested in listening to my tunes from the early 2000s and me singing under my breath so as not to annoy the other gamers in the room, we'll have to go back to our good old background tunes. Sorry about that, again. Anyways, this is a longer video and includes basically the entire main plot of the desert, plus defeating the Divine Beast and Thunderblight Ganon. I tried splitting this into 2 separate videos, but they both ended up feeling like they were lacking something and just a little too short for my liking. So enjoy the mega video, I suppose. The Yiga clan hideout portion of the desert is honestly one of my favorite cheeses in the entire game. Stick around and I can show you what I mean. Let's get into it. Starting out at the Gerudo Desert Gateway, we have a big trek ahead of us, so let's pull up what chests we can using magnesis along the way and get started. You can use the bazaar as a pit stop to whip up any potions you might need to endure the heat while walking up to Gerudo City. We're basically going to make a beeline for Benja outside the city gates to activate the part of the quest we need to obtain the Gerudo outfit that allows us to withstand the heat on our own and grants us entry into the city. He's standing right outside the Dako Chisei Shrine, which is situated directly outside the main city entrance. We just need to talk to him to activate the Forbidden City entry quest, which will spawn in Villia at the bazaar. We might as well complete the shrine while we're here as well. The whole picture shrine is one of my favorites. I find it super cheeky, and I'm pretty sure I had to look up a guide for this one on my first playthrough. We just need to move the metal objects around the room to complete the electrical circuit on the floor and open the gates. We can open this door for a metal barrel that we can use. Now, if we shift some things around and use our newly acquired barrel, we can complete the other circuit on this side of the room to reveal a chest with a Thunderblade in it. But unlike most chests, this one stands out. Any guesses? Yeah, it's made of metal. So let's use everything scattered around the room, plus the chest the Thunderblade was in, to complete the circuit on the other side of the room for our final metal object. we can just arrange all of our bits and bobs to complete both circuits on either side of the door leading up to the monk. We'll head back to the bazaar so we can talk to Villia and she can help us sneak into Gerudo City, since only females are allowed within the city walls. Once we get there, we can start heading up. Climb all the ladders to find Villia waiting on the top of the main structure in the bazaar for some reason. She'll give us a little spiel and then hand over the goods. And man, they are good. Anyway, now that we're in full drag, we can actually enter the city. I'm gonna beeline straight for Riju and Bellaria in the palace so we can get this show on the road. She wants us to prove our worth, which kind of feels fair. She asked that we return a stolen Gerudo heirloom that is currently being held by the Yiga clan. Their main hideout is conveniently just across the desert. I'm gonna take a sand seal out there to eat up the desert significantly faster. Okay, so the first few times I played Breath of the Wild, I played the Yiga hideout as intended. I stealthed it and had an awful time. I don't think I've ever met somebody who actually enjoys a lengthy stealth section in an otherwise great game. After realizing that the entire hideout was cheesable, I never did it correctly again. Just keep making your way upwards. You'll come across a handful of foot soldiers on your way up, but they're super easily dispatched, at least until you get to the end and they hit you with 3 at once. Just keep moving and keep trying to shoot them out of the air when you have a second. It's a manageable fight. In the entrance of the hideout, you'll find a raised platform with a handful of lit torches surrounding it and a bunch of tapestries covering the entrances to stone alcoves all along the wall. Fastest way to take out all the tapestries is to stand on the raised platform and use your bow. Ignite your arrows on a torch before you fire it at a tapestry. Rinse and repeat. Some of the alcoves have items or weapons, a few have keys, and one contains the entrance to the hideout. Barta tries to be noble and tells us to leave her behind, but she doesn't know the trick to the Yiga hideout. It's pretty cheap, to be honest. Take out all the Blade Masters with ancient arrows. An ancient arrow to the face just poofs them into another dimension. No stealth required. If you're careful and take out all the Blade Masters before they spot you, it gives you ample opportunity to actually collect the various loot scattered around the hideout. There are tons of chests and even just loose gems scattered about the place. And don't even get me started on the banana hoard upstairs. I find it easiest to get up high and snipe the Blade Masters from the rafters. It makes it less likely that anyone will see you. There are a few chests sunk in the ground in this room, containing yet more gems. When you're ready to face the boss, you can go ahead and use Magnesis to flip open the door to the arena. Master Koga's fight is one of my favorite moments in this game, so I'm going to stay mostly quiet so we can enjoy it. All of his phases are super simple. The first phase, you just need to crack him with an arrow while he's got a large spiked ball conjured over his head. He'll break his concentration and the ball will fall on him and cause damage. Then when he's stuck in the ground, we can wail on him with our melee weapon as well. The second phase is basically the same, but you have to time your arrow hit just so. Draw your bow and line up to hit him while one of the spike balls is directly above him. We can go ahead and wail on him again once the ball hits him. third phase, you can just snatch his big metal ball using magnesis and bash it into him. Ooh, foreshadowing. Now that we've gotten the Thunder Helm back, we can head back to Riju to start up the Vah Naboris sequence. Let's take a sand seal up to the outpost to meet Riju and climb up to talk to her. So we have to stay in the circle of Riju's protection from the lightning strikes, while also firing bomb arrows at Naboris' feet. This is probably the Divine Beast boarding sequence that I struggle the most with. Once I got a rhythm down, it was a little easier, but I bungled up a good few times before I got this one finished. less than graceful, but it'll do. This map is easy enough to obtain. Just go up the ramp and into the main chamber. The guidance stone is dead ahead, up above you a little bit. This Divine Beast is basically a giant rock tumbler, if anyone else remembers those. It has 3 chambers that you can rotate. Each chamber has a circuit running through the floor that can be aligned to power various outlets throughout the Divine Beast. This one requires you to pay a fair amount of attention to what you're doing. Head outside and take out whatever guardians are about. Then loop back in to find the first terminal. Make sure the chamber is lined up correctly so you can jump in the opening before rotating it again to orient the terminal upright. Start rotating the chamber where this terminal is located, and just use the platform the terminal itself is situated on to ride up until the terminal is upright. Then you just take a running jump. If the main circuit is completed, this section of the wall will be turning. Use an alcove to ride your way up and outside. Just fiddle about with this dial until both lights on each side are activated. This will raise the head of the Divine Beast and activate an elevator all the way up to our next terminal. We have to dick around with these metal poles on the wall until we complete this circuit. This raises and lowers the Divine Beast's tail. So we basically have to complete the circuit and then sprint like our life depended on it to the back of his tail and ride it up to the opening into the humps of the camel. Our last two puzzles can be found in there. Turning this dial activates the platform below us that we just investigated. this leads us to our 4th terminal, which is just kind of chilling on the other side. Now we have to find 2 conducting metal orbs to place on these platforms. One of them is up here at the top of this elevator, hanging out in some gunk. That's taken care of, and we can go get the second one. It should be tucked away on a little shelf in between floors on the opposite elevator. There it is. Let's go place it and open the gate to our 5th and last terminal. back up and dive right into the Thunderblight Ganon fight. As someone who uses the parry mechanic as little as possible, I really do love this fight. I'm not entirely sure why either. I think it's because I love the visual of knocking his shield away and getting a wicked flurry rush in. We can make fairly quick work of this fight. At this point in the game, we've got some good high-level weapons and shields. Or at least we should. Just keep an eye on him zipping around the arena, and you can get a read on him super easily. Just keep parrying and knocking the crap out of him. Phase 2 doesn't even change much. Just keep dodging and whacking. When he spikes these metal poles into the ground, you can grab one with magnesis and float it up near Thunderblight's face so his lightning strike damages himself instead of you. keep parrying and smacking him whenever he's down on the ground and in your reach, and you'll make quick work of him. And that should do it. And that's it for today. Vah Naboris is simultaneously my favorite and least favorite Blight Ganon fight. Favorite because of how challenging it is, and least favorite probably also because of how challenging it is. And that's not even getting into the Illusionary Realms fight. Thunderblight is probably the fight that you have to prepare for the most with gathering weapons and supplies before starting. If you don't have a good shield for this fight, it's going to be a hell of a struggle. Doable, don't get me wrong, but not easy. I've challenged myself in the past to beat this fight without a single parry, and I did manage, but it took like most of an afternoon. So now that we've gotten all 4 Divine Beasts out of the way, the next logical step is to visit the Great Deku Tree and retrieve our fancy Darkness Sealing Sword. See you for that one in the next video. Thanks for watching.